Hey everyone, it's the Classy McClassy show. I got some help. So tomorrow is all today and through Saturday is the AWP conference, and so that is. Should I get closer so everyone can hear me? Is all these writers reading. So I'm at a reading at 1:30 called Angry Asians. It's a Hyphen magazine sponsored reading. And I'm reading about the time that I performed at San Quentin Prison. And so I wrote this in top of last year, actually. So I'm reading it mostly to make sure it's about 17 minutes long. So I figured I'd read it on Periscope for those of you who can't be here. I never thought that I'd ever perform at a prison. When I think of prisons, I think of the punchline of a long-running joke I've had with my parents since high school. Mom, I'm pregnant and the father is getting out in 4 to 5 years on good behavior. I'd never been to a prison before, never had a family member in prison, never had a friend who had gone to jail for anything more than a DUI or obstructing the peace at a political rally. This is not me bragging. This is just to say I either lead a sheltered life while still managing to address social justice in my work, or that my mother raised me to be more of a good Chinese girl than I think I actually turned out. Asian Americans, we're not supposed to go to prison, and we aren't supposed to visit prisons because we aren't supposed to know people who are in prison, because we aren't supposed to get in trouble, get bad grades, get depressed, call attention to ourselves, or procreate with a method that is not immaculate conception. Our stereotype is we get good grades, obey the rules, and do really good nails. So when I had first heard that there was a group called the Asian Prisoner Support Committee, I thought, what a weird thing to advocate for. If these Asians did something bad, why are other Asians calling attention to their existence? That's not very Asian of us. Not to mention, are there actually enough Asian American prisoners to warrant a committee to support them? Turns out there is a growing Asian prisoner population that grew 250% between 1990 and 2000. In the California prison system, APIs are officially categorized as others, a fitting description for a population that is so often overlooked. The Asian Prisoner Support Committee runs a program inside San Quentin for Asian inmates called Roots, Restoring Our Original True Selves. It's a class that is volunteer run, where speakers talk about issues concerning Asian American history, social movements, and culture. It gives these inmates a chance to be leaders and to have a community inside of prison. Supporting Asian prisoners is not about declaring their innocence or diminishing the pain of their victims. It's about addressing and challenging the root causes of the growing Asian prisoner crisis. Root causes like the deterioration of the education system, the criminalization of our youth, and the lack of access to resources for low-income immigrants and communities. This is an organization, a social justice effort I believe in. So I agree when asked to perform for these men the days before Christmas, when I would be up in San Francisco with my family, only an hour away from San Quentin. I am terrified, but I agree. I'm open-minded, but I am terrified. I understand why supporting prisoners is politically important, but I am terrified. I am terrified, but I am terrified. Ben, a volunteer who leads the Roots class, said, "We especially, Christina Wong, think you would be great at bringing these guys comedy. Comedy, comedy, comedy." Here's the thing. I'm not really a stand-up comedian who stands at a mic and rattles off setup punch after setup punch. Most of the things that I get presented to do involve costumes, props, characters, visual spectacle, theater. And come on, we all know that when we agree to watch a theater show, that there's a good chance we might fall asleep. This is why old people love theater, because it's like death, where you get to sit in a chair. So by theater standards, I'm really funny. Theater funny. But when it comes to my work having to play in the realm of a 2-drink minimum, haha, make me laugh or I'll heckle you comedy club, this is where I fear I will fail, because I'm theater funny, not comedy club funny. In my worst nightmare of a prison show, all my references to social media, pop culture, or life in the non-prison flies way over their incarcerated heads. My jokes could alienate them, anger them, incite them to take action on their anger. And now I don't just have an audience who doesn't think I'm funny, but I have an audience of convicted murderers, rapists, and crooks who don't think I'm funny. But one thing is for sure, I will have a captive audience. Haha, get it? See, that was theater funny. The day before this big 90-minute gig at San Quentin, aka Christina's last day on Earth, I do what any professional performer terrified to perform at a prison would do to prepare for the big day. I binge watch Orange is the New Black on Netflix, and when watching a prison dramedy doesn't make me feel any better, I pace. I fret. I'm not alone in my paranoia about this upcoming prison show. My aunt is on the phone with my mother describing to her exactly how these inmates in the audience are going to take me hostage. Auntie Carolyn says they'll probably throw their arms around your neck and drag you down. My mother motions a chokehold before returning to the phone call with my aunt. I'm recently single today, this day that I will go to the prison. Actually, I am 12 hours single. I had the great luck of having my most recent, most promising relationship end the night before by phone. So the timing for this prison performance couldn't be more perfect. I'm ripe for a rebound, and I'm about to meet thousands of available single men. And you don't have to wonder, does this guy have a prison record? Because you already know. Full disclosure, it's awesome. Ben, the volunteer at the Asian Prisoner Support Committee, arrives at my parents' place to drive me to San Quentin Prison. I call out the door before I leave, "Daddy, I'll bring you back a son-in-law." "Don't joke about that," he barks back. "But Daddy, he'll be Asian." "You better be careful. Those men haven't touched a woman in a long time." This visit to San Quentin has taken so much preparation. The warden has had a copy of my ID for over a month. I've been given strict instructions on what I can, specifically what I cannot bring into the prison. No wallets, no phones, no photos, no letters, no drugs, no weapons, no food. I can only bring a few notes for myself, but nothing else. No props, no media, no books, no costumes. This eliminates about 95% of what I can perform, as most of what I do as a performer involves a costume change, a funny prop, a multimedia projection. The only thing I can perform is me, a body, in front of them. All belongings stay in the car. So that I'm not mistaken as a prisoner or guard, there is a strict dress code. The only colors you can wear are purple, red, pink, khaki, and black. Absolutely no blue, green, gray, yellow, or orange. No denim of any color. No jeans. No shorts, leggings, yoga pants, sweats, or tank tops. No open-toed shoes, clogs, sandals, or slippers. No political or obscene messages on shirts and clothes. All shoes must have closed toes and a back. Women wear nothing revealing or low cut. No underwire bras, but you must wear a bra. And what happened with what visitor that they had to instate the must wear a bra rule? What boobs bouncing too much inside a non-low cut shirt incident happened that they ordered a wireless strap down of the memories in the presence of inmates? My prison ensemble is this: black drawstring linen pants borrowed from my mother, a red t-shirt, and over it a red cardigan featuring images of black and white cats playing with a ball of fur, because nothing gets hardened criminals laughing like someone dressed like someone's grandma. We drive up the Golden Gate Bridge and to San Quentin Prison, located on waterfront property and built in 1852, long before anyone could have predicted how the tech boom and gentrification would have made this property worth billions of dollars. It's hard to not feel like I'm not at a tourist attraction. There's a gift shop by the entrance featuring prisoner crafts. There's a wood trivet soldered with a picture of San Quentin Prison, a cable car with moving wheels. I can't help but imagine the prisoner's fingers delicately detailing these crafts on the floor of of their cell. And only a few years before this moment, those same hands choking a guy to death or robbing an old lady at gunpoint. Ben and I are screened by security. I have nothing but my sports bra on to keep my heart from pounding out of my chest. We get an invisible, mysterious stamp on our wrists, and then a gate pops open and we're in. The first thing I see is a single file line of men in orange jumpsuits walking with hands cuffed behind their back. These guys were sharing the air with me. I could run up. I could touch a real-life criminal if I wanted. Then we turn to the yard, and Ben says, "Don't run and don't stare if you see someone urinating." Inmates are exercising, playing basketball, sitting on picnic tables. I want to look everywhere, and yet don't want them to see my face looking back. So instead, I'm whipping my head in casual circles, taking everything in nonchalant, sweeping panoramics of my eyes. As we cross each section of the yard, I'm looking at the faces of different men, seeing if I can place them in the mugshots I've seen in the local news, imagining their faces as drawn by a police sketch, their arraignments in court. Then there are some old white men walking the track with longish white hair. I imagine they've been here for decades, walking that same track in circles. There are geese who have flown onto the yard, who cluster up with seagulls poking around in the cement with their beaks. They seem so at home. A few inmates at the basketball court say to us, "Good afternoon, how are you?" Gasp. They see me. They're engaging me. They're undressing me with their convict eyes. "Fine, thank you," I blurt out and keep walking. It was like the yard of a public school, except no vandalism, no women, old men, spirals of barbed wire at the very top of the fence. We head into the bungalows where, thanks to volunteer professors who teach our inmates can earn their AA degree while incarcerated. There are posters on the walls with inspirational quotes like, "Don't let who you were yesterday determine who you are tomorrow." An Asian man in blue walks in and shakes my hand. Did I just shake a prisoner's hand? Just like that? He's efficiently putting tables away, stacking chairs, motivated to move things. Well, what should I expect of him? That he would throw a table across the room like a brute? That he would sit there in the back of the room smoking crack while we're left to do the work? Another prisoner with the killing fields tattooed on his neck comes up to me and he asks, "Are you Christina Wong?" They know my name inside prison. The prisoner's name is Sane, and he is the peer leader of the Roots class. Then the prisoners flood into the classroom, and my brain is exploding. Rapists, murderers, crooks, all Asian guys, one black guy, a couple Latinos. They're friendly. They're shaking my hands. They look like the people I may have grown up with in San Francisco. With a basic prison wardrobe, white t-shirt, gray beanies or hats, they found a way to give it their own unique spin. The eyewear of the inmates are pretty hipster. Some of them have accessories, a Buddhist meditation bracelet, chains, or something else. Each handshake is intense, like I'm piercing more than just the air as my hand moves closer and closer to meet their skin. Through a surreal moment of breaking a time-space continuum, their eye contact with me all has the same focused intention. The guys talk amongst themselves about football games, pop music. They're laughing and joking. I imagined a scene from a prison drama Oz, but it was more like the Asian Welcome Back Kotter. And then I'm introduced to the group, and the focus is intense. It's the kind of focus I can't get from a college audience. There are no smartphones for them to be distracted by. There are no texts that they need to send. There are no rush to be anywhere else. It is like I'm at a prep school with a lot of neck tattoos and where every student uniform says CDCR prisoner. I preface the excerpt of the show that I'm going to perform for them. It's Wong Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a funny show about depression and suicide. And I tell them how I made this show because nobody in my family was talking about the high rates of suicide and depression in our community, and how much shame there was to acknowledge that something had gone wrong, how much easier it is to hide that something was wrong than to confront it. The men nod like they get it and they get what I was talking about, and yet These were men who weren't lorded over by overbearing parents. They weren't pushed too hard to become doctors. These were men who didn't have enough guidance and made really awful decisions. During my performance, there was laughter like I didn't expect, and applause like I didn't know I had earned. And best yet, they don't text or talk during my performance. Then I lead them in a series of improv games, basic games where they have the license to act silly, and they are laughing so hard and saying over and over again, "We really needed to laugh today. Thank you." I'm talking to one man. He's tall with a sleeve of tattoos, and he's telling me how much he enjoyed my performance and how they want to start a comedy group inside the prison, but they need a mentor. It's tempting to volunteer my services, but I don't live near San Quentin, and I couldn't give them the commitment they need. He says he wants to tell his family about my work, and for a moment, I can barely focus on what he's saying because he is so hot. Holy crap, prison guys are hot. Do I have a thing for prison guys? As the men exit for the yard, each man comes up to shake my hand goodbye. I want to say what I say after every show. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. But I don't say those things because, well, if it was really up to them, I'm sure they would not have chosen to have come to San Quentin in the first place. I also don't hug them, which is what I do with my audience members. Instead, I say, thank you. Good luck to you. Sane, the inmate peer leader of the class, had the calm, the patience of the CFOs of nonprofits who get paid way more than they should to do the same kind of leadership. Ben would tell me in the car ride home that Sane had first come to prison with the nickname Insane. But inside, he'd calmed down, he'd become a leader, and now Sane is serving out a 35-year sentence. These were guys I felt like I'd grown up with. But what trips me out the most is that they're brilliant, focused, appreciative men who had just done really stupid things when they were younger. And now they'd have to grow up and find their life's potential behind bars. And if they were lucky, they would get to live their life on the outside and share what I was able to see of them that day. Their humor, their vulnerability, and their humanity. Well, that's it. I'm going to edit some more. I'll probably read it tomorrow if you missed it today. It'll be a little bit shorter. Thank you for the classy. This is the classiest McClassy show. Bye-bye.